Okay, so let's start the class. Today we will learn cryptography. Okay, so this is the only the theoretical part of cryptography. Okay, very basic, and all the topics that will be covered today is basically theory. Okay, as well as I will show you some tools how to identify a particular hash, how to crack it. Okay, so you will be learning the tools also. However, most of the topics are actually theory. Okay, most of the topics are theory. So let's start the class. Let's first discuss what is cryptography. Okay, what is cryptography? So do you have guys any idea what is cryptography? Anyone?
তার ম্যাথের সাইফার প্লেন টেক্সট থেকে সাইবার টেক্সট হকে তার ক্রিপ্টোগ্রাফি বলি।
বুঝতে পারলাম না, আরেকবার বলো, তোমার কথাটা ঠিকঠাক আসছে না।
মানে আমরা যখন স্যার কোনো মেসেজকে সাইফার প্লেন টেক্সট থেকে সাইবার টেক্সটে কনভার্ট করি সেটাকেই মানে প্রসেসটাকেই ক্রিপ্টোগ্রাফি বলে।
Okay, anyone else? Okay, so let me discuss cryptography. Cryptography is actually a very old term. I mean, it is generated. It was generated basically in the past. Okay, many years ago, many thousands of years ago. The first ciphertext was discovered during the time of Julius Caesar, and that cipher was Caesar cipher. Okay. It was discovered at the time of Julius Caesar. Okay. So, what the cryptography basically is required in military applications. Okay, military applications, communications. Okay, if we want to send some secret message, if we want to send some secret data, even nowadays in daily purpose, we need cryptography in daily purpose. Okay, because now the cyber world is vulnerable. So if we want to protect our data, we need to encrypt that particular data. We need to send that, we need to transmit that data in the internet securely, so that any intruder can't penetrate the can't decrypt or can't see the data that we are transmitting. Okay, so we need to encrypt that, we need to encrypt that, we need to protect that, we need to guard that data. Okay, so to guard that data, to protect that data, we need cryptography. Okay, to guard that data, to protect that data, we need cryptography. So cryptography basically is based on CIA triad. Okay, confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. So what is confidentiality? Confidentiality, you have already learned CIA triad, I think, when you entered into the cybersecurity. CIA triad means confidentiality. Confidentiality. What is confidentiality? When the message is confidential, when we can't read or we can't snoop the data. Okay, we can't sniff the data. Sorry, it's not snoop. We can't sniff the data. Okay, so I mean, if the data is intended for a particular destination, the data should go there, and no one in between should sniff the data. Okay, that is why this is called the confidentiality. That means the message should be transmitted in such a way that no one will be able to sniff the data or to see the data, or to violate the privacy of that particular information. Okay, so that is the confidentiality. Now integrity. So whenever we are sending the data in the internet, whenever we are intended to send the data to the recipient, at that time we need to ensure that that particular data that we are transmitting should be intact, should be integrated. That means no one has disrupted the data, no one has made some changes in the data. Okay, we need to ensure that. Okay, the data shouldn't be corrupted, the data should be intact, and the data should be as it is, I mean, in the proper format, in the form in which we have transmitted the data. So that form shouldn't be changed, the content shouldn't be changed, the message should be properly sent, the message should be integrated in intact. Okay, that is called the integrity. Now comes the authenticity. So whenever we are sending the data, we need to, when we are sending the data in the internet, we are, for example, we are sending the, we are host A and we are trying to send the data to host B. So we also need to send, ensure that whether that particular data shouldn't be sniffed and then forwarded by a particular intruder or by a malicious hacker. Okay, we also need to ensure that. That means the sender of the data should be authentic. Okay, should be, should be authenticated. The sender of the data should be authenticated. Otherwise, there will be no value of that particular message. Because if the message is sniffed in between, then that particular message can be made, in such a way that it can harm the victim system or can harm the recipient system. So we need to ensure the authenticity also. We need to ensure the authenticity of the message also. Okay, so we need to follow these three things. We need to follow the confidentiality, we need to follow the integrity, and we need to follow the authenticity on these three things. Okay, now how can we achieve these three things? We need to ensure these three things, but how can we achieve this? We can achieve these three things by three techniques. One is encryption, second one is encoding, and the third one is hashing. Okay, so what is encryption now? So let's first start with the easy one. Okay, let's first start with encoding. Okay, what is encoding? Encoding in cryptography means whenever we are trying to convert the actual data in a different format, in a gibberish format that we don't understand basically. Okay, so that is called the encoding. That is called the encoding. That means we are converting the actual data in a gibberish format, in a format that we don't understand, and a format that is guarding the data, that is hiding the data, that is hiding the actual data. Okay, now encoding is not for the security purpose. Okay, encoding is not for the security purpose. Encoding is for transmitting the data. For example, I am sending the data from my computer in a particular format, and it may happen that the recipient's computer may not recognize that particular format. So we need to convert that data in a universal format, so that both the systems can communicate with each other, can transmit that particular data. That means host A can transmit the data to host B, and host B will understand that particular information and it can send a particular reply to the host A. Okay, so we need to ensure that then all the computers should understand the format of the data that is being transmitted. Okay, so whenever we are sending the data, for example, we have encoded the data, now we are sending it and it is being received by the recipient. Okay, and after receiving the data, it will be decoded. Okay, after receiving the data will be decoded. Okay, and the user can see the original message. Okay, so that is why encoding is necessary. Encoding is not for the security purpose. We can't secure the data by using the encoding technique, because the encoding is not a one-way process. Encoding can be, the encoded data can be retrieved, and even we do not need any kind of key or any kind of extra information to decode that. We can easily decode it. Okay, so encoded data can be easily decoded. So we do not need any kind of secret key or something to to decode the data. Okay, so there are various types of encoding techniques present, like base64, okay, dot 13, okay, Morse code. These are all the encoding techniques. Okay, so encoded data should be should be used for transmitting the data properly. Okay, so what are the benefits of encoding then? The benefits of encoding is that encoding is a reversible process. Encoding is a reversible process. That means whenever we are encoding a particular data, it can be retrieved. It can be retrieved again. Okay. So encoding is a reversible process. Besides that, encoding, we can encode the data easily. Okay. The encoding scheme is also available in the internet. It can be used by both the sender and receiver. Okay, so the sender and receiver do not need any kind of extra data. They do not have to give effort to encode that particular data or to decode the particular data. They can do it easily. Okay, they can encode it easily and they can decode it easily. Okay, so these are the things. Now, whenever we are encoding the data, we are also ensuring that the data is integrated. Okay, because whenever for example, we are sending a particular data, and the data is in a particular format. Now it is not understandable by the recipient's computer. Okay, it is not the recipient computers is unable to understand the format that of the data that we have transmitted. So there is a chance that if the data can be dropped, okay, or that message cannot be integrated. It will not be possible to get the whole message. So the integrity of the message, so the integrity part of CIA triad is being violated, right? So we need to mitigate that. So to mitigate that particular process, we can use the encoding technique by which we will be able to transmit the data in the intact format, and there is great chance to be that the recipient will get the data in the intact format. Okay, in the message integrity will be same. Okay, the message integrity will be kept secure. Okay, so in this way the integrity part of the CIA triad is kept secure. Okay, we are following the integrity part of the CIA triad by the help of the encoding. Besides that, it is also efficient because can easily encode a particular data, and as well as we can easily decode that particular data. Okay, so that is the whole encoding process. Okay, now we will be going through the hashing process. At the same time, there will be another concept that is not available in your syllabus, that is called the salting. Salting is very popular nowadays, and we need to use it with the hashing. Okay, password hashing. However, let's first discuss what is hashing. What hashing is. Hashing basically is a one-way process. Okay, this particular thing also converts the data in the gibberish format in a random number of strings, in a random number of alphanumeric strings. Okay, so basically by the help of hashing, we are again hiding the data. We are again hiding the actual data. Okay, so the hashing, okay, hashing is also known as the checksum. Okay, hashing is also known as the checksum. Whenever we are sending the data, for example, we are sending a file, even we are sending the data, every particular thing has a particular hash. And whenever the data is being received by any recipient system, that particular hash will be calculated and then matched with the actual hash of the data. If those two hashes are matched, then it is ensured, it can be said that the data is intact, the data is integrated. This is the part of the forensics basically. Okay, you will learn about this the matching of the hashes at the time of forensic class. Okay, this is all about forensics, computer forensics. Okay, it is important there. So now that is the hashing. Okay, so hashing means whenever we are converting the data in the gibberish format. There are many kinds of hashing technique present: MD5, MD4, SHA1, SHA256. Okay, these all are the hashes. Okay, NDLM. Okay, everything are the hashing techniques. Okay, everything are the hashing techniques. So now you will question that will we be able to dehash the data? Yes, we will be dehash the data. We will be able to dehash the data. Okay, we will be able to dehash the data by using proper or certain tools. Okay, if nothing is perfect. Okay, nothing is perfect, and we can't secure any system 100%. Okay, there will be a vulnerability that can be exploited. Okay, and if there is no vulnerability present, then social engineering will do that. Okay, social engineering will do that task of penetrating a system. Okay, because now so how so if everything is not perfect, if every technique is not perfect, then why do we use it? Because if we do not use it, then there will be chances that the data will be disrupted, the data will be damaged. Okay, there will be chances that the data will get damaged. At the same time, data can get sniffed. Okay, these chances will increase more. We are reducing the chances, we are basically reducing the chances by using these techniques, but nothing is secure. Okay, nothing is 100% secure. We are just mitigating the possibilities. We are just ensuring that the data is safe as much as possible. We are securing the data as much as possible. Okay. So now hashing is a one-way process. Okay, we can't if hashing is a one-way process, there is a by definition, if you go for the definition, then the hashing is one-way process. You can't dehash the data. Okay, you can't dehash the data, you can't get the original message. However, you know that already that it is not actually possible. We can dehash the data and we can get the actual message. Okay, however, let's learn the theory first. Okay, besides that, one feature of hashing is that the hashing hash values will have the same length. Hash values will have the same length. I mean, if I am typing I am a good boy and I am trying to hash it with MD5 technique, MD5 hashing technique, then the length will be the length will be certain. Okay, there will be certain characters present in the MD5 hash. Okay, now if I am trying to hash password, this word. Okay, if I am trying to the word password by using the MD5 hash, then also the length of the hash will be same. I mean, the length of the hash will be same for I am a good boy and password both. The hashes will be different. Okay, that is another thing, but the length will be same. The length will be same. Length doesn't in hashing, length doesn't depend on the length of the payload. The length of the payload is not directly connected to the length of the hash. Is not directly, not is not connected. It is the length of the hash is independent of anything. The length of the actual data or payload. Okay. So these are the things. It also ensures hashing also ensures the data integrity. Okay. Besides that, it also ensures the data confidentiality. Okay, because whenever we are try to store the data, we try to store the password in a particular database. Then we store the password by hashing it. We do not store the passwords in plain text. We first need to hash it and then we need to store it. Right. So in case of password storage, we do need the hashing technique. Right. Now comes the digital signatures. Okay, so digital signatures means whenever we are trying to encrypt a particular message, it is a part of the encryption now. Okay, it is a part of the encryption now. However, I'm just discussing it. Okay, digital signature means digital signatures can be created, or digital signatures are created at the time of encrypting the data or encrypting the information. How? Using the private key. Okay, and that particular private key will be in the hash format. Okay, that particular private key will be in the hash format. So this is how the hashing is connected to digital signatures also. Okay. After that, this is the hashing. Now let's come to the point salting. What is salting? as you know that the hashes are of the same length. Okay, hashes, if I am using a certain hashing technique, for example MD5, if I am trying to hash a data like password using the MD4, then it will have a certain length. And if I am having if we are trying to this is a statement, this particular sentence with the MD4 hash, then the hash will have the same length as the previous one. Okay, so the length of the hash will not change. So the length of the hash will not change. So now it can be detected. It can be detected which encryption, which hashing technique has been used. So there will be a chance that if the hashing techniques is if the hashing technique is known, then the hacker or then the malicious person can be able to design the dehashing algorithms, right? So to mitigate that chance, we need salting. So what is salting now? Whenever we are trying to hash the password that we have typed, a random number of strings will be integrated to that particular message. For example, my password is password. Okay, now I'm trying to hash this particular word. Now whenever I'm trying to hash this particular word, a random number of string will be added with the password. For example, ABCD percentage @ this particular this random string is being added with the word password. Okay, and then it is being hashed. Okay, so now the hash has been hash has changed. The hash has changed. For example, both of the users or two users are there, and two users are using the same password. Now if I am using the salting technique, then both for both that for both these passwords, different random strings will be added. Okay, so in this way those two hashes will be unique. Those two hashes will be unique. Okay, so this is the benefit of salting. Besides that, if I am trying to encrypt that, if I am trying to hash the data with a random number of string added after it, okay, added after the actual password, so the hashes will also change, right? Hashes will also change. Hashes will also change, and it is also be difficult. It will also be difficult for the hackers to dehash the data. Okay, to understand the particular data. Okay, rainbow attacks will be can be mitigated. Okay, because whenever we are trying to dehash a particular data, okay, whenever we are trying to dehash a particular data, what happens actually? A list of words will keep stored. For example, we are using certain tools like John the Ripper, hashtag. So okay, so we do use these certain tools. So how these tools works basically? These tools basically brute force the word. For example, I have a hash. For example, I have a hash of ABCD EFG 1 2 3 4 5 6 something something. Okay, so now this hash is hiding the data ABCD, for example, for example, let's say admin is a password. Okay, let's say this particular gibberish hash is hiding the data admin. Now I am trying to crack this hash. So I will be using some tools like John the Ripper. These are the offline hash crackers. Okay, Hashcat. If I am using the online tools like CrackStation, Hashes. Okay, so whenever I'm doing that, what these tools actually do? These tools have a particular database in their system. Okay, they do have the default. They do have the default word list. And if we want to give our personal word list, then we also can provide it. Basically what happens, these particular tools has the data. These particular tools basically hash the word lists that are available to that particular tool. These tools particularly has the words that are available to them. Okay, now they compare those two hashes, the hash that we have provided and the hash that the tool has created. If those two hashes gets matched, then the data will be dehashed. Then the tool will be able to tell us that the value of that particular hash is this. Right? Now, if I am doing the sorting process, will it be able to detect that? Right, it will not be able to detect that, because the string that has been generated for the sorting is random. So that particular random string, there is no possibility of present, using that particular random string, because if that random string is not available in the word list, right? So how can the tool detect that this particular random string has been used during the sorting process? It will not be possible for it to compare, right? Because the random string that has been added with the actual data is not available in the word list. So the hash will not get matched with any of the word with any of the hashes that has been generated from the word list, right? So that is why sorting is very important. Sorting ensures the first of all, the integrity of the data and the confidentiality of the data. Okay, sorting is useful to mitigate those processes of dehashing. Understood my point? Okay, so this is the sorting process. That is why nowadays we use sorting with hashing. Okay, we need to use both at the same time. Okay, so now let's come to the point encryption. So this is the last one. What is encryption now? Encryption means it is also converting the data in the gibberish format. Okay, it is also converting the data in the gibberish format. Okay, besides that, it also ensures the confidentiality, integrity, and I was just saying wrong. In the CIA triad, it was confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. I'm just sorry. Actually ব্যাপারটা অন্যরকম হয়ে গেছিল, মানে আমি একটা ভাব থেকে অন্য একটা ভেবে ফেলছিলাম। ওটা হচ্ছে অ্যাভেলেবিলিটির জিনিসটা অন্যতে আসছে, ওটা সিসিএন এর আর একটা পার্টের মধ্যে চলে যাচ্ছে। আমি দুটোর মধ্যে মানে দুটো নিয়ে চিন্তা করতে করতে হয়ে গেছে, সরি। ওকে, সো উই আর সেইং দ্য রাইট। ওকে, সিআইএ ট্রায়াড মিন্স that is the confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. Okay, now it also ensures that the process of authenticity. Okay, encryption also ensures the process of authenticity. Why? Because of the key that is used to encrypt the data, okay. So the encryption, whenever we are doing encryption, we are trying to change the actual data in a gibberish format, in an encrypted format, by using a key. In encoding, we are also doing the same. However, there is no key in encoding, but in encryption, there is a key. And if we want to decrypt the data, we need that particular key. Now, there are two types of encryption present. One is symmetric encryption and another is the asymmetric encryption. In case of symmetric encryption, what happens? There will be only one key. There will be only one key and we need to encrypt that data with that particular key, and we need to transfer the key along with the data to the recipient so that the recipient will be able to decrypt the data using that same key. Otherwise, it will not be possible to decrypt the data. In symmetric encryption process, the data gets encrypted and decrypted using the same key. Now, there are various types of asymmetric encryption. One is AES encryption, the second one is DES encryption, and there is triple DES encryption. So the strongest encryption process is the AES encryption process, advanced encryption standard. Okay. DES, data encryption standard, is obsolete now. However, to replace DES, triple DES is available now. Okay, triple DES is available now. Triple DES is the replacement of the DES. Okay, data encryption standard. Okay, there are especially in AES, we name we name the AES 128, we AES 256. This is all about the size of the key that the AES algorithm is used. AES algorithm is using. Okay, so this is the size of the key, 128 bit or 256 bits. Okay, so we name the AES encryption standard, the advanced encryption standard according to the size of the key. Okay, so this is the symmetric encryption where only one key is used for encrypting and decrypting the data. Now comes the asymmetric encryption comes into the picture. So what is asymmetric encryption? It is basically the public key cryptography. Symmetric encryption is the private key cryptography. Asymmetric encryption is the public key cryptography. So what is the concept of public key cryptography? In asymmetric encryption, there will be two keys. One will be public key and another is the private key. Okay. So in case of when we are trying to encrypt the data, we will encrypt the data by using our public key, and we will be sending the data to the recipient. Now, whenever the recipient will receive the data, that data will be decrypted by the private key of the recipient. Now, if the recipient wants to reply, then the data that the recipient is sending to the sender will decrypt the data by using its private key. And whenever the recipient is sending the reply, it will encrypt that particular reply by using its public key. Okay, so RSA, DSA, these are the public key or asymmetric in public key cryptography or asymmetric encryption. Okay. So, as this encryption cryptography can be broken. Okay, this particular cryptography can be broken by using the brute force attack, dictionary attacks, cryptanalysis. Okay, various techniques can be used. As I have already discussed, that brute force attack can be used. Okay, brute force attacks can be used to decrypt the passwords, right? To dehash the password. Whenever we are trying to crack the hash, right? Whenever we are trying to crack the hash, then we can do that by using the brute force attacks, right? Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Okay, just let me open my Kali. Now we will be looking at the tools that we can use. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. Okay, so let's use the command hash identifier. How can we use that? Okay, so one thing we can do, hash identifier. Okay, this is the tool. Now it is asking for the hash. Can we create a particular hash? And let's check the type. Let's create a particular hash. Okay, we can create a hash. Or we can do that. No, we that is for the encoding. Okay. Let's generate the MD5 hash. For example, I want to generate a hash for this admin. Let's generate it. Okay, this is the MD5 hash and this is the SHA-1 hash. Let's copy both of them. I have copied the MD5 hash. Now let's paste it over here and try to find out that whether this particular tool is able to detect the hash type or not.
স্যার MD5 হ্যাঁ তার SHA-1 বুঝবো কিভাবে?
তো এখানে দেখতে পাচ্ছ এখানে আমাদের পসিবল হ্যাশেস আছে MD5. ওকে, দিস ইজ দ্য পসিবল হ্যাশ MD5. হ্যাঁ, কে বলছিলে, কি বলছিলে?
বলছিলাম স্যার MD5 হ্যাঁ আর SHA-1 হ্যাঁ দুটো বুঝবো কিভাবে আমরা?
এই তো এখান থেকে বুঝবো। Now let's copy the SHA-1 hash and let's check it in the hash identifier tool again. Okay, As you can see, there is the possible hash is SHA-1. Okay, in the previous one, we have understood that the possible hash is MD5, right? So we have gathered the information that for both the types of the hashes, for both MD5 and SHA-1. Okay, so in this way, by using the hash identifier tool, how we can detect the hashes. Besides that, we can use various online tools also, like crackstation.net. Sorry, we are trying to identify, right? We are not trying to crack it. So let's search it in Google. There will be various websites like this hashish. Okay. This website is very useful. Okay, let's paste it over here and identify it. As you can see, the possible algorithm is SHA-1. Okay, now let's try to, detect the MD5 hash. Whether we are trying to check whether the hash is being detected or not, right? So let's search it again and let's paste it over here and let's submit and identify. As you can see, the possible algorithm is MD5, so it is able to detect the hash type, right? So now what we will do, we have gathered the knowledge that we have used an offline tool, that is the hash identifier, as well as the online tools by which we can be able to identify the hash types. We can be able to identify the hash types. So these are the popular tools and these are the useful tools at the same time, right? So now let's crack the hashes. Okay, let's crack the hashes. Okay, let's stop it. Okay. So now let's what we can do. We have, we will try to dehash this particular MD5. We will try to dehash that particular MD5 hash that we created, and we will be doing that using the John the Ripper. So how will we do that? If we want to do that, first we need to store that particular password in a file. Okay, let's create a file first. For example, I'm creating a file hash.txt. And I'm pasting the password here. Now what I will do, I will just use John hash.txt. If you try to explore the options, you can try it by using the man command. Okay, as you can see, this is a password cracking tool. You can use your own word list. You can use rocku.txt also. Okay, various options are there. You can use it according to your context. If you don't want to use it, you do not have to. There will be a default word list by which the password can be cracked. So let's provide the word. Let's first type the file, then provide the word list. So I think the rocku.txt file is present inside our downloads folder. Oh no, locate rocku.txt. Let's locate it. Okay, so let's download it first. Okay, rocky.txt is downloaded now. Okay, so let's crack it with John now. What is happening? Can we use W only to do that? I think we can use it to without using any kind of flag. No. Let's use the W flag. Okay, let's try it without any word paste. What is happening? Oh, ho, ho. I was using man before it. I didn't notice it properly. Okay, let's try it again. What have we get? Okay, let's not use the word list term. No, I think we do not have to use it. Okay, it is working now. Okay, let it happen. Let's wait for it. It will take time. Mainly Hashcat is the popular tool. Hashcat is far better than John. Okay. John will take a lot of time to crack a, small hash. Can we use it with our rocky.txt? I think that will be double. I was using the single hyphen. That is why it was not taking it. We can do it by using the double hyphen. I think. Let's check it first. Let's give the whole path. It will be better. I think we also need to provide the hash type. Okay, we also need to provide the hash type, otherwise it will not work. Let's say format. Okay, as you can see here, we need to use the format, and we can use the format raw MD5. Okay, raw, and this one MD5, this one. Okay, as you can see, we have cracked the password. This one is the password, admin. Okay, because we have created the hash by using this particular word, right? So now you can see this particular word is cracked. Okay, so we can use the John like this, but we need to mention the format, and we also need to mention the format in Hashcat also. How to check the format? Which, I mean, first you need to do in this way. First you need to check what type of hash it is. Okay, after checking the type of the hash, then you need to specify the type of the hash in both John and as well as in Hashcat. However, in John, if you do not want to mention all these things, this word list format, you do not have to. If you only use John hash.txt, it will also work, but it will take some time to crack the hash. If you use this particular word list and as well as the format, then it will crack it faster. It will be able to crack it faster. Okay. However, in Hashcat, it is mandatory to mention the type of the hash. So first you need to identify the hash by using the hash identifier tool. Otherwise, you can use the online tools that I have shown you. Okay, so you can use all those things, and as at the same time you can, sorry, after that you can use these particular tools to crack the hashes. Okay, now let's say let's check the Hashcat tool. First we will check the information man Hashcat grep. We want to crack the MD5 hash, right? So grep MD5, we only want the data related to MD5 hashing algorithm. As you can see, we need to specify this 0 here. So the format will be like this. Okay, this what is this M0? This M0 is for the type of the hash. This is for the type of the hash. Okay, there will be various types. Okay, so we need to use those, 0 or any kind of any other value according to the type of the hash. Okay, after that, in Hashcat you do not need to mention any flag to use the word list. Okay, it is trying to crack the password. Okay, as you can see, the password is cracked now, and the possible password is admin for this hash. You can see that, this one. Okay, so in this way we can crack these passwords. Okay, in this way we can crack these passwords. Okay, so now what we will do, we will look at the steganography part. Okay, this was the cryptography part. Okay, these are, that's all. to crack, I mean, how can we crack the data, or how can we, I mean, I'm sorry, how can we crack the hash? How can we identify the hash? We have already checked it. Besides that, one more thing, if you want to crack it online, then you need to go to the crackstation.net, or you can use the hashes. This is the online tool for cracking the hashes. Let's copy the hash and paste it over here. Okay, as you can see, it is the type is MD5 and the result is admin. Okay, so you can use crackstation also. At the same time, if you want to use other website, you can also do that. Okay, you can use this hashes. Oh, I need to submit the captcha, right? As you can see, the password is admin, right? We have cracked the hash. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's discuss the theory of steganography.
আচ্ছা স্যার একটা কোশ্চেন আছে
বলো।
স্যার বলছি আমরা স্যার ওয়াইফাই স্যার কোনো পাসওয়ার্ড মানে নেটওয়ার্কে কানেক্ট না হয়ে কি করা যাবে কখনো? কানেক্ট হয়ে গেলে তো স্যার পাসওয়ার্ডটা এমনি জানতে পারবো, মানে কানেক্ট ছাড়া কি দেখা যাবে
পাসওয়ার্ড
কোনো ওয়াইফাই
পাসওয়ার্ড ওয়াইফাই হ্যাকিং যেদিন হবে ওই দিন বুঝতে পেরে যাবে, পরের দিন।
আচ্ছা
Okay, so let's discuss the term steganography now. Let's discuss the theory of steganography. So what is steganography? Steganography is also the process of hiding a particular information inside a secret message. Okay, it is the process of hiding a particular information inside a secret message. Okay, so that particular secret message can be anything, and the form and the I mean data in which we are hiding the actual message or the secret message, that can be anything also, like video, audio, image, okay, anything. So the data can be protected, can be can be hidden inside this audio file or video file or an image file, okay, even in the text format also. Okay, so that is the process of steganography. Steganographic process is obsolete now. We do not use steganography as of now. Okay, we mainly use cryptography. However, steganography, I mean, can be is usable. Okay, we can use the data if we want. If we can use the technique if we want. Okay, so there are various types of steganography present: image steganography. Okay, audio text steganography, video steganography, audio steganography, network steganography. These things. Okay, what is text steganography now? So whenever we are trying to cover our secret message inside a particular message, for example, this is a text, Okay, so this is a statement. Now I am trying to hide a secret message inside. Okay, how can we retrieve that message? We can retrieve the message by altering the words or the letters. Okay, we can alter, we can retrieve the actual message by altering words or letters. Okay, so that is this text steganography. After that, image steganography. If we download an image, and the video steganography is also the same. Video steganography, audio steganography, all these processes are same. Okay, when we are trying to embedding the data, when we are trying to embedding the data inside this particular video files or audio files or image files. Okay, so there is no more theory in this particular section. So what we can do, we can, I mean, use the tools. Now we can see the tools. There will be various tools for that. However, we will look at the image steganography tool only. Okay, we can use StegHide tool. Okay, we will be using StegHide tool. Okay, at the same time, OpenStego is also available. Okay, then QuickStego is also available. Okay, so for the image steganography, for the audio steganography, deep sound can be used. For video steganography, MP3 stego can be used. Okay, for text steganography, white space can be used. Okay, so these things, these tools can be used for the steganography, for the steganographic purpose. Okay. So let's use the StegHide. Let me share my screen. First, to download the StegHide tool, what we need to do, we need to type. First, let's check whether this tool is already installed or not in my system. No. If we want to use install it, then type the command sudo apt install StegHide. We are using Y for allowing everything. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, it is downloaded. So now let's check StegHide by writing StegHide. Okay, so the thing, the tool is installed now. Now we will download an image, okay, a random image, in which we will embed our data. Let's download this image. Oh, okay, this is, we need to upgrade it. Okay, let's check another website. Let's download this image. Let's rename it. Okay, now we will hide the data. Okay, first we will create a secret file that we want to hide, right? So we will make, okay, let's use the hash.txt. Hash.txt is present here. Okay, let's go to downloads and let's copy that file to our current location. Okay, it is downloaded. Now let's modify that particular hash file. I'm deleting the data, and instead of this, what we can do, we will not create it like this. We will, I mean, let me show you how can you do that using the echo command also. Okay, so let's say echo, and what we will be doing, we will, I mean, encrypt the data. We will, encrypt the username and password. Okay, we will encrypt the username and password. How can we do that? For example, username ABCD, password BCDA. And we are storing it inside hash.txt. So if I cat it, as you can see, this is my data. Now I am trying to embed this particular file where in my image, in the image.jpg. So how can we do that? We need to use the StegHide tool. So now we will be using various flags here. So first flag is, okay, first let me use the option embed. Okay, first use the option embed without the hyphen because it is not a flag, it is a keyword. After that, we need to use the flag EF for the file, for the secret file that we want to embed. That means hash.txt. After that, the flag CF is for the file in which we want to embed the data. That means the image. After that, the password to decode it. I mean, to get the data back. Whenever the recipient will get the data, will receive the image, they need to, provide the password to retrieve the data, right? So let's say password is admin123. Okay, done. It is done. Okay, and now let's look at the difference first. If I do lsl, can you see that the size has increased of the image? Okay, at first it was 63,786 and now it is 66,471. So you can clearly, it is clearly visible that the size of the data, so size of the image is increased, right? The size of the image is increased. Now if we want to use StegHide, if we want to retrieve the information about this particular image, how can we do that? Info image.jpg. If I use this, then we need to provide that passphrase. So we also need to deliver the password to the recipient. Otherwise, the recipient will not be able to get the info. Okay, get the info or retrieve the result, retrieve the actual result. So in our case, the password was admin123. Now you can see that hash.txt is embedded inside this particular image. Hash.txt is embedded inside this particular image, right? So this is the tool. Now, if we want to dehash the data, if we want to retrieve the data, sorry, not dehash, if we want to retrieve the data, how can we do that? We need to do that by using the StakeHive tool also, StakeHive tool, and we need to use the keyword extract. Okay. At the same time, we need to use the flag SF for the file in which the data is embedded, right? So the name of the file will be image.jpg. Now we want to enter the password again. We have to enter the password again. So admin123. Okay. Okay, sorry. I think the password is wrong. Okay, so hash.txt is extracted. So one thing I can do, if as the hash.txt is already present here, let me delete it first, and then let me show you. Okay, let me delete rmrf hash.txt. I need to show you guys that the data is being retrieved. Okay, now we will dehash the data. Okay, if I write lsl, as you can see, hash.txt is present now. Hash.txt has been extracted. Now if I cat it, as you can see, the username and password, we can see the username and password. Okay, so that is all. Everyone has understood the concepts. एक्सट्रैक्ट करने के बाद, हाँ, क्योंकि डेटा तो वहां पे एम्बेडेड ऑलरेडी है ना, एम्बेड हो गया है। एम्बेडेड होने के बाद उस वहां से डेटा एक्सट्रैक्ट होके एक कॉपी मेरे पास आ रहा है और दूसरा कॉपी इमेज के पास ही रहेगा। Okay, all right. Okay, so practice it. Okay, practice it what I have shown you. প্র্যাকটিস করো, আমি আসছি একটু ওয়াশরুম থেকে। Yeah.